Canada, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Suzette Mayr's debut novel, Moon Honey, which you can't really see that well on my screen here, but it's a blue image, but yeah. So Suzette's book was part of the Noonatak First Fiction series, which is the longest-running first fiction series in the country, and places where Thomas Wharton, Hiromi Goto, Suzette, Fran Kimmel, Bruce Cinnamon, among others, probably 40, 50 or so now have had their either first novels or short story collections. So we're happy to have discovered a lot of people who went on to do big things in the Canadian book industry, and Suzette Mayr is one of them. So without any further ado, I'll just go to that. And sorry if you saw me pop up briefly, I forgot to change the episode title, so that's why I shut down and came back. And also, I really need a haircut. It's getting wild. Okay, so Moon Honey. This book came out in 1995, and it's kind of a magic realist, body-changing look at race in Canada. It's a really interesting book. So I'll read you the first chapter. And the reason why I'm on this is that I've actually run out of print books in my house, so I'm moving to our ebook collection, the ones I haven't read already. But you can purchase this one in print book if you like. I prefer print as well. Carmen and Griffin began dating the day she turns 18, back when she's still a white girl. When she's 18 and a half, they make love for the third time under the pool table in his parents' basement. She knocks her head on the table leg, and her skull roars with pain while Griffin pumps, his eyes close. Her eyes roll back until the whites gleam pearl, her bottom jaw drops, and when she comes to, she figures she's been unconscious for about a minute. Griffin takes about 58 seconds. Carmen's timed him. They've timed each other. Griffin 58 seconds, Carmen 10 minutes. They've learned orgasm speed relies on biology, the difference between men and women. Some of her girlfriends have never orgasmed. Griffin's buddies, on the other hand, have no problem, men and women. They have concussive sex in the same room as the wooden inlay picture of three happy people, Africans, she supposes, with long, thin necks, baskets on their heads, thick red lips, and gold hoops in their ears. Under the pool table, they can lie relaxed and sweaty, side by side, and look up at the picture, the only decoration on any of the walls. A souvenir, Griffin says. A souvenir his mother picked up on one of her business trips. Where, asks Carmen. I don't know, someplace where blacks live, obviously. His mother, Fran, doesn't like Carmen at all. Carmen is not the kind of girl Fran would choose for her son, not the kind of girl Fran wants included in her family's bloodline. Carmen doesn't talk, slides in or out of Fran's house without so much as a hello or goodbye, as though Fran were invisible or merely a servant. Fran only ever knows if Carmen is somewhere in the house, from her grimy sneakers parked in the front hall, or the normally immaculate ashtrays crammed with lit-stick cigarette butts. It's the 90s, right? Smoking. That's not in the book. Griffin and Carmen disappear for hours, the entire day sometimes, slam the front door, or the back door, or the patio door when they're back from wherever they go. 6 p.m., a door slams, and Griffin asks, "When's supper, Mom?" Just like nothing's happened. And the next thing Fran knows, Griffin is stuffing an entire bowl of green salad into his mouth, and Carmen's beside him at the dinner table holding out her plate as if Fran owes her food. Fran's mother would have slapped that plate out of Carmen's hand, then slapped Carmen in the face. The least Carmen can do is help clear up. Fran is tired of being her servant. Have some more green salad, Carmen, Fran says, and whips the bowl of salad across the table. Fran also approves of the premarital sex she knows that Carmen and her son are having. Fran isn't stupid. She wasn't born yesterday. But sure enough, financially, she wouldn't put it past Carmen to get pregnant and nails into Griffin now, while he's still young with so much promise. Oh yes, Fran's laid down the rules. No Carmen in the bedroom, no closed doors in the house, all the lights on the moment the sun goes down. She doesn't approve of the two of them disappearing for entire days, or Griffin arriving home at 4 o'clock in the morning, but she refrains from commenting because even if Fran doesn't like Carmen, at least Griffin isn't homosexual. At least he's sticking to girls, whorish and unmannered as Carmen may be. Now, if he was out until 4 in the morning with some strange boy, she'd certainly have something to say. Ida Sorensen down the street found out her son was homosexual, walked on him and some young fella kissing, for God's sake. God knows what would have happened if poor Ida had walked in just 10 minutes later. God knows. Fran would kill herself first. Carmen is a quiet and devious little tart, but maybe Carmen can learn, be changed, converted. When Carmen turns 20, Fran hints during Sunday dinner that they should be thinking about marriage. She wants to see grandchildren before she dies. St. Francis, she says, is a beautiful church. Carmen doesn't say anything. She doesn't believe in God or St. Francis or church or marriage. With a steak. He's a vegetarian when he's not in his mother's house. He doesn't become a meat eater until he goes home at night. Fran sulks if he doesn't eat her. We were actually thinking maybe we'd live together eventually, Ma. He chews the steak slowly, doesn't eat the fat, doesn't suck at the juice, doesn't let the bloody flesh touch his lips. Oh well, if that's what you want, says Fran, stacks the dishes loudly, one on top of the other, so that long cords of steak fat lop down the rims. If that's what you want, but her face says closed for business. If her body were a section of land, she would be surrounded by coils of barbed wire, protected by Doberman pinchers, snarling no trespassing, no ingrate sons allowed. Fran married Godfrey when she was 17. Too young. She should have waited till she was at least 20. 20 is a good age for marriage, old enough for babies, but still young enough to adapt to a husband's habits. 20, the ideal age. At the age of 17, Fran took Godfrey's name and he took her hand and everything else. God could be a good husband for the right woman, if she believed in him. But God does what he wants, leaves every summer to do research. Fran still doesn't know what he does exactly. Comes home hairy and smelly and unwashed and leaking other women's bodies and juices. God pretends to listen to her. He nods at the end of her sentences, follows her with his eyes when she stands up and gestures with her hands to clarify a certain important point about her life, and makes sympathetic grunts when she complains about Griffin's late nights. But she could see God's watching a television set with much more interesting show in his head. Why should she believe in her husband, stand by her man? How could she believe in someone who doesn't pay attention to a single word she utters, just nods like a rocking horse, and empties his pipes into her scrubbed ashtrays, praises her cooking even when she microwaves TV dinners, and isn't always on top? Most of the time, God doesn't listen to Fran because he doesn't know what to make of her. What does she want from him? Does she think his line of work involves psychiatry? She has yet to figure out what to say. He has yet to figure out what to say in response to her ravings. All he wants to do is prepare for his next field trip, make sure things go off without a hitch, smoke his pipe at the end of a day's good work. He thinks of Fran sometimes when he's in the field as he clumps from one fist-sized rock to the next, trying to keep his balance. He thinks about when they first married, their relationship now gray on gray on gray, like the landscape he works in. Part of his work is following musk oxen, gathering samples of stools. He crouches on the ground. He never promised her a rose garden. He never promised he'd be a stay-at-home husband. And she seemed satisfied with their arrangement the last time he talked to her. How many years ago was that? He can't even remember how long they've been married. Maybe he should wire her some flowers? What kind of flowers? One of those ready-made bouquets. They have nothing in common anymore, and it's mostly her fault, although he's prepared to take some of the blame. She thinks his work is irrelevant, doesn't even know what he does. He crouches in the gravel, and the fabric of his weatherproof pants gathers in behind his knees and his crotch. Maybe he should have given her more children. Maybe that would have kept her busy longer. He scoops a chilled bit of dung into his bare hands and rolls the sample around, rolls it between his fingers, brings it up to his nose now and then, lets it grow warmer and warmer in his palms until it reflects the heat of his hands. He pulls whiskers from his beard and adds them to the heated sample, rolls some more until the sample starts to simmer, then boil in his hands. The sample buzzes, starts to vibrate angrily. He breathes into his hands, opening his palms skyward. For Christ's sakes, Fran, he feels like saying, I'm only human. A cloud of newly made mosquitoes swells from his fingers. In newborn disorientation, the mosquitoes burst from his hands like water from a fountain and fly into the sky. Godfrey checks his hands to make sure they've all flown away, claps away any remaining dried stool, wipes his hands on his pants, then wipes the sweat off his forehead. Brand new mosquitoes. A fine crop they look like. He loves this job. So yeah, kind of something interesting happening there right at the end, huh? Suzette Mayr's book. There it is again. Can't really. There. That's kind of what it looks like. It's available at allitup.ca for right now. That's where we're doing our physical sales. So check on Twitter. I'll put a link. And it's also available anywhere you buy ebooks. So just pick up your ebook reader and type it in. You can find it pretty easily. So that's it for today, and we'll see you tomorrow with another episode of NeWest Press Video.